out there, but I'm gonna bring you in the shore, okay? I know, just calm down.
The shallow encounter. The stillness of the water that morning almost made the danger invisible. A group of fishermen were scattered across the shallows, casting lines and laughing about nothing in particular. One of them lingered behind, lagging just a few feet farther than the others. He mentioned being too drained to walk back to the boat. Just seconds later, that fatigue turned into raw panic. From the side, almost too smoothly, an alligator emerged, gliding silently toward him like a shadow across glass. The group didn't even have time to shout before the man bolted. That moment of hesitation could have cost him everything. He sprinted back to the boat just in time, adrenaline wiping out whatever exhaustion he thought he felt. The others could barely breathe. Everyone left the water that day knowing just how fast peace can turn to terror. That morning had been picture perfect. A pale blue sky, water like glass, and a breeze so light it barely stirred the surface. The kind of morning where nothing feels threatening, where silence feels earned. The fishermen had been scattered out in the shallows, talking softly, sipping from old thermoses, and laughing about old stories that had probably been told 100 times before. No one noticed how quiet it had become. No birds overhead, no insects skimming the surface. Just that slow, creeping quiet that sneaks in when the wild is about to make itself known. One of the men, maybe a little more tired than the rest, had wandered just a few yards farther from the group. Not much, just enough. He sighed, said he was too drained to wade back yet. His voice was relaxed, casual. That's when the water behind him shifted, not violently, not even loudly. Just a ripple that didn't belong. From the side, the shape moved, so smooth it looked more like a trick of the light than a threat. An alligator, gliding through the shallows, its eyes fixed, unblinking. The kind of predator that's had millions of years to learn patience. At first, no one said a word. It was like their brains refused to believe what they were seeing. That something so still, so quiet, could be death in disguise. Shark teeth after the storm, Destin, Florida. The shoreline in Destin, Florida, looked like a different world the morning after a violent storm rolled through. One man headed to the beach to fish, but stumbled into something far more fascinating. Scattered all over the sand were what looked like shark teeth, dozens of them, maybe hundreds. He picked up one, then another, genuine, unmistakable. There was no mistaking what they were. The mystery came in waves. Some claimed these teeth might belong to a long-extinct megalodon, possibly dredged up from deep sediment by the storm's power. Others wondered if something larger, something still alive, was stirring in the depths. Whatever the truth, that beach had become a place of questions, and no one walked along those sands quite the same afterward.
These shark's teeth are everywhere. Look, there's one. There's another one too.
The storm had rolled in like a hammer, slamming the coastline overnight with wind that howled like it was alive. Waves battered the shore, carving deep grooves into the beach. Locals stayed indoors, windows boarded, waiting for it to pass. And when the sun finally returned the next morning, the world looked scraped raw. Debris littered the sand, splintered driftwood, twisted seaweed, fragments of things the ocean rarely gives up. But it wasn't the wreckage that caught the man's attention. It was something small, shiny, sharp, lying just beyond the water's reach. A shark tooth, then another, then 10 more. The beach wasn't just scattered, it was covered. Black, jagged teeth poking out of the sand like clues in a puzzle no one knew they were solving. He crouched down, turning one over in his hand. It was massive, serrated, and perfectly preserved. This wasn't from a nurse shark or a lemon shark. This was different. Shark launches from the water. Two fishermen recording their day at sea weren't expecting anything unusual. It was just another clip for their fishing vlog, until the ocean exploded beneath them. A shark, monstrous in size and speed, burst from the water, launching straight into the air like a missile. The camera caught the entire thing. A flash of gray, a blur of water, and a steel wall standing between the predator and the man recording. The shark missed, but not by much. That sheet of steel might have been the only thing that saved him. The realization hit hard. Out there, even a calm day on the water can flip into chaos without warning. The sky had been cloudless, the waves gentle, the kind of day fishermen dream about. Calm water, easy rhythm, and not a single hint that something was watching from below.
Oh! Holy crap! It dove right out of the water!
You see that?
Man!
The two friends had their cameras running, documenting another easy day at sea for their vlog. Bait, banter, laughs, the usual. But then the water changed. It started as a subtle ripple, a swirl that didn't match the current. The kind of movement most people would dismiss, but seasoned eyes always notice. One of them turned just in time to see the sea surface bend, not break, bend, like something massive was pushing up from beneath. And then it exploded. A shark shot out of the water with violent force, body twisting in midair like it had launched from a cannon. It wasn't breaching to feed, it wasn't playing. It was hunting, or warning. The roar of water gave way to pure silence, the kind that only comes when the brain can't process what it's seeing fast enough. The shark's body passed within feet of the man behind the camera. Only a thin metal wall of the boat separated him from being shattered on contact. That wall rang out with the impact of the spray, echoing like a bell across the open ocean. The force of it knocked one of them back. The other stood frozen, eyes wide, camera shaking. They caught it all. The gray blur, the teeth, the glint of sun on skin stretched taut with power. A predator in its purest form. No hesitation, no warning. And just as quickly as it had appeared, it was gone. The sea went back to calm, like it hadn't just tried to kill them seconds earlier. That's the cruelty of the ocean. It gives no clues, no foreshadowing. One minute it's serenity, the next it's survival. That clip went viral, not because of the shark itself, but because of what it reminded people. That beneath the water's surface, something ancient still moves, something fast, something unpredictable. And when it comes up, it doesn't miss often. They were lucky that day. Dust storm at Lake Pleasant, Arizona. What started as a sunny day of paddleboarding at Lake Pleasant in Arizona turned into something ripped from a thriller. The girls were out on the lake when the wind picked up. Fast. The sky dimmed, and then everything vanished in a wall of dust. Panic took over. The dust storm wasn't just scary, it was dangerous. They couldn't see anything, couldn't tell which direction to go. Calls to 911 were made, but even with help on the line, the fear was real. That lake has claimed lives before, and it almost did again. Their footage, later posted online, captured not only the storm, but the raw terror of being helpless in nature's grip. The sun had been blinding just an hour earlier, bouncing off the lake's surface like a mirror. The girls were laughing, paddleboards drifting with the breeze, playlists humming softly from a speaker clipped to a backpack. It was one of those perfect desert mornings, bright, open, and still. Then the wind changed, not a gentle push, but a sudden angry gust that came from nowhere. They looked up and saw the edge of the sky, folding, a wall of brown rising fast, too tall, too wide, too sudden. One of them shouted, another dropped her paddle trying to turn. Within minutes, the lake disappeared. Visibility vanished. The blue sky turned to a choking haze of dust and wind so violent it felt like the air was tearing sideways. The horizon was gone. Shorelines dissolved into swirling nothing. It wasn't just hard to see, it was impossible to know which way was safe. Their phones were their only tether to help. Shaky hands dialed 911, but the storm made even that difficult. Voices cut in and out. GPS glitched. It was no longer about getting to safety. It was about staying afloat, staying calm, staying alive. The lake has a history. People have drowned there before. It's quiet, deceptively beautiful, and dangerous when the weather turns. That day, it nearly claimed more. Waves kicked up in seconds, turning glass-smooth water into chaos. Dust-choked lungs, stung eyes, clogged every breath. Hooked thumb at sea, Bowley's incident. Bowley headed out early to fish off the coast of northern Queensland, a typical solo trip. Calm seas, clear skies, until a single mistake turned his morning upside down. While handling his gear, a fishing hook jammed straight through his thumb. Not a surface scratch. This thing went deep.
I just got the hook in my thumb really bad. Like, really bad.
He showed the camera, his voice tense, shaky. It's nearly gone through my whole thumb. With no one nearby, he was stranded and injured, floating in the middle of nowhere. His pain turned to panic, knowing infection or worse could set in fast. Eventually, he made it back to shore and found help, but that quiet moment on the water reminded him, and everyone watching, just how alone you can really be out there. The man adrift, near Bimini. Some stories feel off even before the truth comes out. This one began with two fishermen spotting a man balanced on an overturned boat, just standing there in the middle of nowhere looking strangely calm.
How long ago did you capsize? How long ago? How long has it been?
Yesterday.
Oh wow.
I was fishing, and the water comes to the bottom.
You want water?
Can you take me into Bimini?
No, man. We get Coast Guard.
Got a water for you here.
Okay.
You don't want it?
I
Okay.
You alright? Huh?
It was just you on the vessel?
Yeah, only me.
Man, you're 100 miles from Bimini.
Oh.
This is South Florida.
You're off Boynton Beach or Boca right now.
No one help me. Everyone passed me.
Coast Guard's coming. You want a water?
Yo. Huh?
You want a water? Okay.
They approached. He'd been drifting since the day before. Claimed water rushed in and flipped his boat. He'd been alone ever since. But something didn't sit right. His answers were scattered. His tone was odd. The fisherman offered water. He refused. The Coast Guard was already on its way, but the whole thing felt off. Sailors say trust your gut at sea, and this time that gut said not everything was being said aloud. Gunshots near the lake, fishing with Tate. Tate, a familiar face to fishing fans online, was out recording his usual vlog. Just another relaxing day on the lake. Then a phone call came in, a warning. Something dangerous was happening nearby. Moments later, gunshots cracked through the air from the woods surrounding the lake. The video caught it all. The sounds, the panic, the decision to leave, fast.
Gunfire, brother.
Tate showed a map, pointing out just how isolated the area was. Thick trees all around, nowhere to run. He wasn't exaggerating. The fear in his voice, the urgency to leave was all real. That day, fish weren't the only things in the water. Hook accident while casting. There's something ironically brutal about fishing injuries. 1 second, you're casting into the wind. The next, the hook meant for a fish is lodged in your friend's skin. That's exactly what happened during a peaceful afternoon trip. The hook snapped back mid-cast, burying itself in the guy standing just a few feet away. Painful? Absolutely. Serious?
While somewhere on Mono Beach, I did.
Thankfully, not too bad. But it was a sharp reminder of how quickly things can go south, even in the safest setting. Sleeping man on the boat. A fisherman spotted something odd. Another man lying in a boat, stretched out, unmoving. From a distance, it looked peaceful. Too peaceful. Was he asleep? Maybe. Was he okay? No one really knew. The scene felt almost surreal, like walking in on someone in a dream. In the end, the fisherman didn't disturb him. Some moments are best left undisturbed. The light under the bridge was different, muted, with a weird kind of echo to the world. As the fisherman's boat drifted forward, the figure came into view, stretched out on the bow of a smaller vessel, motionless, arms at his sides, eyes closed, or maybe just hidden beneath the shadow of the bridge. No movement at all, the kind of stillness that doesn't belong in a living body. The fisherman slowed, didn't call out, just watched. The man's chest didn't rise, not even once. For a moment, it felt like time itself hesitated. Water slapped softly against both boats, but otherwise, nothing. The body was too clean, no signs of struggle, no fishing gear around him. Just a man dressed in plain clothes, floating like he had always been there. He looked calm, but not in a peaceful way. More like resolved. The kind of stillness that suggested he hadn't just fallen asleep, but let go. The fisherman thought about pulling alongside, about nudging the boat, checking for breath. But something, instinct maybe, told him to stay away. There's an unspoken rule on the water. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. He drifted past slowly, trying not to make a sound. Every ripple felt too loud. Every creak of the oar was like an alarm. As he passed beneath the bridge's final shadow, he turned back one last time. The man was still there. Same position, same expression. But now, something felt different. His hand had shifted, or had it. That night, the fisherman couldn't sleep. Couldn't stop picturing that figure beneath the bridge, the eerie quiet, the sense of being watched. The hill snake encounter. Jazz at Yarra River. Jazz returned to the Yarra River expecting a quiet day. The fish weren't biting, so he shifted to a new spot. That's when things got terrifying.
Snake! Where did he go? He's gone, man. There he is. He's underwater. There he is. Tiger. I could hear him coming down the hill. I just couldn't get away because I was sliding down the hill. He flared up. He's right in that middle bit of shade there. He was sitting right where my rods are, and I slipped on the grass.
As he moved, he heard something coming down the hill. Before he could react, he slipped, his foot sliding on wet grass, unable to stop, right into a snake, not beside it, onto it. The creature flared up, coiled defensively in the shade where Jazz had placed his rods. He barely avoided being bitten. Out in the wilderness, help isn't minutes away. It's miles. One wrong slip, and that's it. Jose Alvarenga's survival. 438 days at sea. Jose Alvarenga's story doesn't sound real, but it is. A shark fishing trip off Mexico's coast turned into a 438-day nightmare when a storm destroyed his boat, leaving him and a crewmate adrift. They caught birds, turtles, anything that moved, drank rain, turtle blood, even urine. After 10 weeks, his crewmate died. Jose kept drifting over 6,500 miles of open ocean. No ship stopped. No help came. Over a year later, he finally made landfall. The story isn't just survival. It's beyond that. It's endurance pushed to the absolute edge. The ocean became his prison, and the sky his only clock. Days blurred into nights. Weeks collapsed into silence. With no sails, no motor, and no sense of direction, Jose floated under a sun that gave nothing but burns, and a moon that lit only more isolation.
Padre Señor bendito, digo yo, que me volcó la lancha. Al segundo tumbo me tiré. Ya, la lancha, la brangam. Yo andaba nadando. Yo me alejaba de la lancha porque no me golpeara. A la chela y me tiré nadando. Llegando a tierra, ya no pude caminar.
Hunger sharpened his mind at first, then dulled it. When fish were scarce, he bit into birds raw. When the rain didn't fall, he drank blood. Not out of choice, out of the unbearable instinct to live. His crewmate, younger and more hopeful at first, withered quickly. 10 weeks of salt, sun, and starvation stripped away both strength and will. When he finally passed, Jose was left alone in a floating grave, forced to share space with death and memory. He kept speaking to him, whispering to keep from unraveling, sometimes imagining answers in return. Madness was no longer something to fear. It was company. Jose drifted past giant cargo ships. None noticed him, or maybe they did and kept going. His beard grew, skin cracked, lips blistered. But he kept catching fish. He kept drinking rain. He refused to stop. Each morning he woke, not because he had a reason, but because he hadn't died in the night. Over 6,500 miles. That's how far the current carried him. Over 14 months. That's how long he floated without rescue. When he finally reached the Marshall Islands, the locals couldn't believe he was real. Gaunt, silent, and sunburned beyond recognition, he stood barefoot in the sand and simply stared at land like it was a dream. People called it a miracle. Survivors called it impossible. But Jose's story didn't come from faith or fate. It came from pain, hunger, and a will that refused to snap. What happened out there rewrote every rule about how long a man can last when stripped of everything but breath. Monster gar catch, Blue Gabe. Blue Gabe hit the Trinity River hoping for catfish. What he got instead was something ancient. The rod bent hard, too hard. Whatever was pulling on the other end was massive. Knee-deep in mud, straining with every muscle, Gabe finally saw it.
There she goes.
There you go. Come on out there. Here's it.
Oh! Oh!
That's the biggest gar. Grab that GoPro.
Okay.
Grab that GoPro. This is the biggest alligator gar I've ever seen. No! Look at me. I'm in the mud up to my knees. Oh my goodness. Is it big? This is the big one. Look at his old nose. This is a 100+ pound fish. CeeLo.
See you, baby.
CeeLo. I'm actually nervous with this fish.
You need some help, brother?
No?
You got her good. She not going nowhere.
Yeah, but they'll hit you in. Oh my gosh. They will hit you in the head. There's no way I'm gonna be able to pick this fish out. My foot's there. Look at this. Giant. No way. It's bigger than me.
The largest alligator gar he'd ever caught. Its nose worn, its body heavy and prehistoric. The fish looked like it came from another time. It was easily over 100 pounds, bigger than him. The gar thrashed violently, and for a moment, it wasn't clear who would win. But Gabe held firm, honored the fight, and released it back into the deep. One giant returned to the dark. Waterfall trap, Curtis May in Mexico. Whitewater kayaker Curtis May didn't plan on being trapped under a waterfall, but that's exactly where he ended up. Wedged behind one of the 5 Kings Falls in Chiapas, Mexico, pinned by sheer water force for over 75 minutes.
Okay. I'm not dead.
He drifted off course after a drop and got stuck behind the falls. Pushed and pulled by the current, every attempt to escape failed. His teammates, Wesley and Isaac, fought through crashing water to reach him. After multiple desperate tries, Curtis finally broke free, exhausted but alive. It wasn't just his strength that saved him, it was the sheer determination of the team that refused to give up. If you've enjoyed diving into these true and disturbing encounters, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And drop a comment below with your thoughts, because these are just the echoes. The full storm is still coming.